On August 5th, 1995, one of my favorite games of all time was released to the world. Today, it celebrates its 30th anniversary. It is a game that will always hold a special place in my heart. Not only for the experience the game itself provided, but its lasting personal impact as well. Now, could I spend this short time talking about the timeless art style, the wonderful soundtrack, or the sublime gameplay? Oh sure, but I would only be regurgitating what many others have said over the years. In the end, they are all elements that help create such a memorable experience. This is one of those childhood-defining titles for me on a personal level. Instead, I'd like to take a brief moment to just express what ultimately has been the unique impact that the game has had on myself. The game would come out in the US shortly before I turned 7, but a young Crescent wouldn't have no idea on the future impact it would have. At that very moment, it was just a fun adventure that helped cement Yoshi as one of my favorite video game characters. Games like it, Star Fox, and eventually Sonic Adventure 2 would culminate into a series of ideas that got me to begin writing in the midst of my high school years. During those early days on fanfiction.net, the ideas that had built up in my head would culminate in a series of stories that I'd share there. Then, upon discovering DeviantArt and stumbling upon so much Yoshi art, I ended up joining and starting to get involved with the community proper. More friendships started to form as I grew to know the artists behind these works. A short time later, this would then lead me to the Yoshi Art forums. My first ever OC would also be formed, predating Midnight's creation by a few months. I remember eagerly looking forward to getting home from class or work to hop back onto the forum or the little chat option it had, and participate in whatever might be going on. I eventually grew to be the most active member on that forum, as well as joined its staff. So many memories were formed during those days. While I ultimately was active on the site for at most 3 years or so, many of the friendships formed there will continue to this day. It's crazy to think about how some of these now have lasted for about 20 years. Funny enough, thanks to our love of the Green Dino, this would ultimately act as our entry point into the greater furry fandom as a whole. Through this path, new bonds would be formed, more headcanons about our characters would be made, and many more memories would be created. Yet for many of us, we can never leave our origins. To this day, all these years later, some of us old Yoshis can still recognize each other, even if our monikers or our characters change. It's a very heartwarming thing. I don't think any of us had any real idea that the game would have the impact on us that it ultimately would. And you know what? I think we are all eternally grateful for that. So again, happy anniversary, Yoshi's Island. Thank you to those that made the game happen, and all the memories that came after.